In the mother of all coincidences, the day before the season 2 announcement, I had a very detailed dream about Hazbin Hotel that had a plot and stakes and felt like I was living in an episode of the show. When I hoped that YouTube would make me a profit, this wasn't what I had in mind. Why do I make these jokes? To set the stage, in the dream, I was a cosplayer dressed as Charlie at a convention in a very large and very nice hotel that somewhat resembled the Heaven Embassy from episode 1. See, I was simultaneously on a second, more secret version of the mission Charlie went on in episode 6, in which I'd be meeting with Heaven, but not publicly announcing the meeting to anyone. As I entered, I had to give my name to St. Peter, but because I wasn't supposed to be there, instead of telling him that my name was Charlie Morningstar, I made a portmanteau of the actress's name and told him that my name was Charlie Morningson. Now, I know that you know how the list works. If you're on the list, you can go in. If you're not on the list, you can go to hell. However, in my dream, it was reversed. If your name was on the go to hell list, you couldn't go in. So changing my name worked, and he was like, all right, I'm not seeing you on my list, go right on in. So I'm in heaven / the con, and I've managed to bring a few residents of hell with me, including my Vaggie cosplayed by my wife and some others. But as I walked past one of the mirrors, I noticed that my makeup's gotten messed up. There's this huge red gash on my face where the pale foundation has slipped. It looked a bit like Blitz's scar, and however it got there, it marked me as Hellborn and would out me to anyone who caught a glimpse. So I rushed to the bathroom to reapply my China doll makeup, only to realize that my face looks fine and there's nothing wrong with my face or any of my makeup. I realized then that the mirror in the hallway had reacted to my demonic nature, so I would have to spend the rest of my time in heaven making sure nobody noticed anything in my reflection, at least until I got where I was going. Fortunately for me, this didn't take long, and pretty soon my entourage and I were settled into our floor-level desk. Rather than being surrounded by angels, we were surrounded by convention goers because I was responsible for giving a panel to an audience of about 500 people. The topic of the panel was
whether or not a soul in hell can be redeemed into the heavenly realm by means of this Hazbin Hotel.
It was my job, along with my co-panelists, to convince the other side, whom I suppose were also co-panelists of a sort, just really antagonistic co-panelists, that sinners can be redeemed. So we've basically got the hearing from episode 6, right? Well, then the other panelists started singing, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to win over the audience and we're going to lose this debate. They weren't even good at singing. It was just a fan song with pretty mediocre delivery, but they had choreography and clearly put effort in, which was more than I'd done to prepare. So just like Charlie in the actual show, I had to scrap my plan and regroup on the fly, coming up with something to wow Heaven's Court and the audience of 500 fans who came to see our panel. I got my delegation together into a huddle and told them, okay guys, we need to remember that there are 3 ways of persuading someone to do what we want. There's logos, which is being technically correct and seeming like you have the answers. There's pathos, which is appealing to their better nature. We've tried those last time, it didn't work. So we're going to have to go with something else. We need to lead with ethos, our authority as beings, as souls, as individuals who are capable of change and worthy of respect. Got it? Let's do this. And we got settled in and I began to speak, but as I did, one of the congoers began to shout over me from nearby about how unprepared I was and how embarrassed he was for me.
Leave before I eat those big-ass eyes.
We need your help. With your assistance, we can make a stand.
Where's the showmanship? Where's all the finesse? Fucking mediocre.
Verbatim speech is no problem, but if I have to think about what I'm going to say next like I did in the dream, I can't have him speaking over me, so I snapped. What are you even doing here? I walked over to him, grabbed him by the lapels, and shook him. If you don't like it, then leave!
Fuck you, you old bitch!
As I shook this poor man, I realized the optics of the situation, let him go, and ran off the stage to regroup. As I waited in the hallway, I realized what I'd done. I'd assaulted a man who had only been verbally annoying me. With 500 witnesses and probably video evidence, I'd never live this down. I considered my options. There were only days, if not hours, until this found its way to my employers. I searched on my phone for the footage as it began to crop up online, and as it started to pass between various various commentary channels, I knew that there was no setting the record straight, so I shed my Charlie cosplay and decided to start a new life, jobless and anonymous. This means, of course, enrolling in classes at Georgetown University. I hoped that I could lie low for a few years until things died down, until the first thing people found when they searched for me wasn't an assault on an innocent man, and come back with another impressive degree to help me find employment when my name wasn't so radioactive. I hastily changed into a pink and gold sundress, so hastily it was on inside out, and began to wander the Georgetown University campus in search of kindred spirits and a new life. When I reached the admissions building, I found that my wife was already there, still in her baggy cosplay, telling me that I would be okay. Nobody was hurt, nobody was pressing charges. If I had trouble with work, we'd find a way to make that work, and she brought me home. So yeah, Hazbin Hotel, but make it a nightmare.